Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. We can't evade the laws of nature. The laws of nature are there for all of us, for you, for me, for everyone else. So, because the laws of nature apply to countries as apply to individuals, because the countries are led by individuals, I will give you a little example at the beginning so we can discuss later the piece of news that I have here ready for you. Let's say in a classroom you have a bully. The bully can beat each and every other classmate in a one-on-one fight, or maybe two-on-one, but definitely cannot beat the whole classroom by himself or herself. Depends on what kind of bully we have. Therefore, when you have a bully in a classroom, the students might get together and being 5 or 6 will beat the bully. So the same thing is in foreign relations, in countries, geopolitics. You have an Al Capone with a plantation, and you have countries that are kicked in the teeth by this Al Capone. And these countries get together to oppose the Al Capone, the bully. And those are right now big countries who somehow were allowed to develop too much economically and militarily. And I'm talking about Russia, China, India, Brazil, basically the BRICS countries, and not only. And they form the group that will oppose or defend themselves from the bully. What do we have here? We have China and Brazil. They got together and they said, you know what? How about, guys, you de-escalate the garbage in Ukraine and let's have an international peace conference. Not a peace conference like the, garbage Zelensky and his backers, infantile backers, try to push on everybody else. No, this is China and Brazil. There's no secret that China and Russia ganged together in order to fight the bully boy. Brazil knows, with the new Lula da Silva, the communist, ballsy guy, that, United States of America will come for Brazil as it came for Argentina. And now you have Russia. Next will be China, and so on. Why? That's what strong people do. Why? Because they can. If they can cut the crap and get what they want without, being opposed by Albania or by Romania, they will do it. And then they will claim, they will bring a justification for that illegal action or whatever actions they might employ, whatever they will do. So what's going on here? We have an article from South China Morning Post, and the title says, China and Brazil jointly urge Ukraine war de-escalation, propose, and I'm quoting, international peace conference. Now, you haven't heard this coming from the club, did you? You heard this from Zelensky Stein and the Americans. Remember, the Americans accepted Zelensky Stein's, 10 points peace plan, so-called, because they wrote it. And this is an imbecilic peace plan. It's something that no country will agree to unless they will surrender unconditionally. That's what it is. Unconditional surrender of Russia. Like Russia is losing or something. Far from it. So let me read you a little bit of this article here. China and Brazil jointly urge Ukraine war de-escalation, propose international peace conference. Development comes after Foreign Minister Wang Yi meets top Brazilian envoy and marks first such Beijing initiative since the armed conflict began. No, because China brought its peace plan, if you remember, but it was rejected by Al Capone Zelensky. Okay? So it's kind of like a half-truth here. Joint proposals includes measures addressing prisoner exchange, humanitarian aid, and protection of civilians. China and Brazil have issued a joint call for the de-escalation in Ukraine war, proposing an international peace conference be convened to mediate an end to the 2-year armed conflict that could have been avoided because that started in 1991, then 1994, and then 2008, and then 2014, and then 2022. to February 24th that we all know about. Why did I start with 1991? That was the agreement between the Soviets and the Americans. One side to the other. There was agreement. Oh, wait, we won. Yeah, you won. Yeah, okay. And what came next? Pax Americana. That helps people like me who believed in the, I don't know, exceptionalism of the United States of America to a certain extent, to see that actually bombing Yugoslavia was not okay. Well, then you got Saddam, then you got Afghanistan, then you got Libya, then you got Syria, then you got Ukraine. So no, that's gone, unfortunately. Can we get it back, or can they bring it back? Yes. Why they? Because they brought it up and they fucked it. All right, it was not me. I'm just trying to help them recover that exceptionalism. Let's put it this way. But if you look, even if you look in the U.S.'s history, there are certain things that, you know, were solved. And now these guys are just shooting themselves in the feet. So what's going on here? We have Brazil and China issued a joint statement. The statement from the two countries followed a meeting between Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi and Celso Amorim, a special advisor to Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, in Beijing on Thursday. It marked the first time China has formally offered such an initiative since Russia invaded Ukraine in February 2022. Again, initiative. I think that this should happen, but it shouldn't have started. So Russia will finish its job over there. I guarantee you that. And here it says, however, this is what they say, ranking Russian officials told Reuters on Friday that Russian President Vladimir Putin is ready to halt the war in Ukraine with a ceasefire that recognizes the current battlefield lines. I don't believe that's true. Putin will not go half measures anymore. Let's put it this way. They will accomplish the, as they call it, special military operation, the 4 points, and that's it. They're not going to be like this, and they're going to leave NATO stay on the other side. No, that's not going to happen. Ukraine will not have this happen again. They were fooled, remember, with a gentleman agreement in 1991. No 1 inch eastward, NATO. They lied. This is the first one. Second one, 1994, the Budapest Memorandum, when Ukraine was a what? A neutral country. That was broken by George W. Bush in 2008 when he said, one day Georgia and Ukraine will become NATO member states, not Russia. That means we are against you. You are the enemy. Now that broke the Ukraine's so-called neutrality right there. Then it was the coup d'etat in 2014, where Victoria Nuland and her boys took care of Viktor Yanukovych through a bloody coup d'etat. Again, and then they took over, they brought NATO, instructors, CIA in Ukraine. Was that right? No. And then what happened with the Donbass? They sent military over there to destroy those guys. Why? Because those guys did not recognize the coup d'etat traitors. I mean, if you overthrow a legitimate government of a country, and that is a democratic elected government, that means you are a traitor, because you overthrew something illegally. And then what did you do? Why didn't you go to vote? Nevertheless, here it is. That should have not started the war, but they won it because of the profits. You know who is the profiteers here, right? Yeah, Putin and Lavrov, together with Zakharova. Yeah, right. Okay, so what do you think? Do you think that this peace conference will take place? No, will not take place. The Americans will not recognize this call. Why? Because they think they will figure things out, which is, we're going to impose the terms of the peace agreement. And the peace agreement is, we take Russia, we take its resources, okay? And then we control China. That's the goal. So the peace conference is not going to happen. It's interesting that these guys from the club, Brazil and China, came out boldly and said, hey, peace conference. But they will end up in the garbage can. The United States will not agree to that. I guarantee you that. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.